5 years ago, friends James Pitman and Mike Blyth started a business called the Airplane Factory together with their first employee, Vince Ntuli. Today, they produce more planes than anyone else on the African continent. Called the Sling, the plane is completely self-designed and they believe in its class enough to literally bet their lives on it, having twice flown it around the world. Now, they will attempt to fly a Sling to Europe that they hope to build in just 7 days. As if this isn't risky enough, half of the crew have zero experience in manufacture of any kind.
It's been 5.5 years since Mike over here started developing a new aeroplane in South Africa. And it took 4 years to get the first aeroplane flying. We flew that aeroplane for 42 hours. We took it apart, and we started building another one. Beautiful yellow aeroplane.
In 2009, Mike Blyth and James Pitman flew the first Sling around the world in a historic record-breaking journey. Though extreme challenge and adventure are what makes them tick, they are also proud South Africans who believed it was possible to develop an airplane in Africa that could hold its own with any in the world.
In many ways, I think today represents the kind of culmination of that production process, because we have produced an aeroplane that we reckon complete beginners are able to build if they work hard as hell at it in a period of 7 days.
The reason Mike and James want to include inexperienced people in this challenge is to prove that not only can the Airplane Factory successfully manufacture their very own high-tech airplane, but that the kit they are marketing to the home builder is simpler to build than any other. All the parts for this kit are manufactured at the Airplane Factory premises, which is across the runway from the hangar where they're going to attempt to build a Sling in 7 days.
During the design and development phase of the aircraft, we tried to find components that were already made that we could just incorporate into the design, but there was nothing that really suited us perfectly. And it was too much of a compromise to do that. So we designed and developed every single aspect, right down to the seats. Everything in the aircraft is unique. You can see where the seat lies now.
Yes, okay. It's an aeroplane which we think is one of the finest light aircraft in the world. And in order to prove that, Mike and I are going to fly the aeroplane that all of us today are going to build in the next 7 days to Europe.
I've never built anything in my life. Oh, have I? No, I'm building a plane that's going to fly from here to Europe.
Just so that you know, we can't do this unless we, really go for it. And if we are running late...
Mike, having had more experience at building planes than James, better understands the nature of the challenge.
I don't think James emphasized it enough. Personally, I think it's going to be very, very difficult for us to pull this off.
It is not unusual for light aircraft to be sold in kit form. It is no different with the Sling. Most aircraft manufacturers say that it takes plus minus 700 hours to assemble such an aircraft, but the conventional wisdom is that it actually takes at least twice that long, which would mean an impossible 20+ hours of work a day for each of this 10-person crew. Mike and James are betting that the Sling will indeed take only 700 hours to build from first rivet to first flight.
We've got 5 men who are experts in building aeroplanes. We then have 5 women who have absolutely no experience at all at building aircraft. It wasn't intended necessarily to be that way. It's just worked out that way, unfortunately, because all of the men are people who work in the factory.
The bigger challenge that they've set is getting the inexperienced half of the crew up to speed so that they're able to make a meaningful contribution. To give themselves a fighting chance, they've pulled 5 of the best minds from their staff, including their manufacturing manager.
Vincent Ntuli over there is the engine specialist. Vince knows more about the installation and operation of the engine that this airplane uses, probably than anybody else in the country. Vince also has the most hands-on experience on the Sling of anybody here or in the world, for that matter.
The first time I met Mike was in '98.
Initially, he worked with me assembling micro-ride aircraft, and later on, he was working on Rotax engines, so he really knows the engines very well. And when the opportunity came up for us to employ him here in this business, I grabbed it.
And really, to be honest with you, I do enjoy this job. I come without any experience, but now almost I know everything.
It's a special thing for me to, work all these years with him.
In my position now, I'm a manager for this hangar. This is the final assembly, and then after that, it's going to the customer. So we have to make sure everything is safe to fly. As this is a very responsible job, because this is people's life. This for the wings.
So wing straps and ailerons, firewall forward and seat.
The first thing Vince and James do is find the right manual.
Fuselage.
Mike, who designed the aircraft, imagines that he can begin the build without one.
I'm suddenly uncertain about which ones go where.
My dear expert's confused. That's not allowed. My name is Nomfunda Ulu. I can barely pronounce my own surname. I am an entertainment editor of Move magazine, a mother of 2 boys, very cute little ones. I'm here to build a plane. I mean, how many people can say I've made a plane with my own hands?
Now that I think about it, probably the best, Mfundo, is for us to actually
Read this funny language here.
wrong manual.
Mike, no.
Nomfundo's delight at Mike's uncertainty says a lot about her mischievous sense of humor.
Mike is confused, and Mike is the expert.
But perhaps it's more a measure of the seriousness with which he has decided to approach this project.
We're looking through the manual now.
I'm worried about myself. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to start with the best way is to go exactly according to the manual and not according to what's in my brain. So we're starting with that.
The formula that they've got is 5577. It's 5 guys and 5 girls building the aeroplane in 7 days and then flying it to Europe in 7 days. Now, to fly to Europe in 7 days is actually a long way. It's got to be completely reliable. It's got to be able to handle all kinds of weather and all kinds of altitudes and temperatures and so on. So it really is a real challenge, which I think just confirms the confidence that they have in the quality of the design, which is now proven, and of course the quality of the construction that we're going to see happen here.
So do you know how this works? It's so cool. So you put this thing in here, it's got a clicker or something, and you press. And then you put it into like a whole thing, and then you let go, and then it like sort of holds things together.
The most difficult thing that they're going to have to deal with is having 5 completely inexperienced people and trying to put those together into a coherent team that will all work together and not get in each other's ways and get the stuff that has to be done early done in time, so that things that take a long time, like for instance the sealing of the fuel tank, which can take 72 hours, that stuff has to be done and has to be done on time and finished if the airplane is going to be ready in time.
Some of the inexperienced crew may indeed require a long learning curve, but others are taking to the build like fish to water.
Put that one in first, then do that.
On the
twice.
table, adjacent to Mike and Nomfundo, who are busy with the rear fuselage, James is building a wing with a team consisting of Mike's wife, Charmaine, and Dudu Matibula, who is the picture editor at the Times newspaper.
Dudu over there. She's fast and she's very precise. She's an absolute natural. I mean, she has a feel for these things.
In 2009, one of our photographers brought a feature into the office of, these guys, building a small aircraft and flying it around the world. And it's something that I really envied and really liked. I've always had this passion and love for aircraft. So I'm very happy about this kind of experience and working with people who've been in the industry for a while. It's a shock to most people because they think that I'm very girly, but I also grew up like a tomboy around brothers. I like building stuff and breaking stuff and putting it together.
And putting stuff together is what it's all about. Not just the parts, but the teams as well, for without the enthusiasm of the crew, they will never meet the challenge. Apart from Mike and James's teams, there are 3 other teams assembling different parts of the plane. Swedish student Vega is helping Vince with the central fuselage. Jean is building the fuel tanks with old friend Bonnie and airplane factory secretary Sherry Lee, while Gareth is doing the electronics on his own.
Ordinarily, of the 700 hours, we allocate 150 hours to the electronics in the aeroplane. Only Gareth can do the electrics. And that means essentially that Gareth has to do 150 hours of work in the next 6 days. That's, I think, 27 hours a day. So Gareth's got a hell of a job ahead of him.
Already there's a sense of competition building as to which team is getting their section of plane together quicker.
Perfect fit, you see?
The wing is still the same it was when ours was almost nothing. I'm just saying.
Gareth, just take a look at this table and have a look at that table over there. And what is the immediate feeling that kind of comes to your mind, you know?
I think that these guys are about fun, but they're about serious fun. The point is that building an aeroplane is a serious business. And even though they're going to have fun doing it, they're going to do it professionally. And I think that they've also shown that they have the confidence in it to be prepared to fly it with minimal testing all the way to Europe.
I mean, we're making good progress. That's the inside rib on the wing. And you can see that we've completed both the guide for the aluminium tube that twists and ultimately rotates the aileron around its axis over there so you can control the aeroplane. But I'm happy to fly to Europe with this rib over here. Well done.
James is easy. You know, he admits when he's made a mistake, and you know, he's a leader, and I like that in him. You know, sometimes I stand around with a tool in my hand and I ask him, James, what next? What next? And he looks at me and is like, this chick, okay, we still have to drill some more holes.
You probably won't need to drill out some of these holes, but if you need to drill them out, test each one, then drill them out, put the rivets in, and you can rivet the whole wing, okay?
Yeah, I just want to see the final product and see it fly.
Not only will this crew be building an airplane together, but they will also be sharing meals and sleeping quarters at the airfield. With many of them being strangers to one another, there's a good chance that the atmosphere will become increasingly intense as the build goes on. But on this, the first evening together, spirits are high. As tools are downed on the first day's hard work, it becomes evident that many like to party. From the first evening, the alcohol comes out, setting the trend for those to follow.
Well, it's Saturday night.
Gareth brings out his guitar and starts a song where everyone has to make up their own verse.
With my feet up for a change, and it's you.
Vince, still feeling a bit shy, skips his 15 seconds of fame.
Well, Vincent can't speak. And I'm having some wine.
Anybody I could sing as well as I build a wing. So I'm not really in a position to make good judgments now because I've had quite a number of beers. Something that I normally do when I get quite kind of stressed out. But I'm supposed to say, if I listen to what Mike says, that we're behind and we're having trouble and maybe we won't make it and it's such a challenge. But I am actually bloody delighted. I think we did unbelievably well. I mean, I also feel happy that we've got such a nice bunch of people doing this.
I thought first day we're gonna get to know each other, like, you know, group work and all that. But it was work from day one, the seriousness, the commitment, the responsibility. And I really admire that from day one. I mean, it sets the pace for all the other days that are to follow.
The tables were empty when you got here. Then the kit came, and now there are structures that look like planes. We've been seeing slings coming the whole day, and I'm thinking, we're building something just like that. And they're so beautiful and not that expensive. I'm gonna buy one.
Yesterday, there were two occasions when I was pissed off. The start of the day, Dudu and Mfundu were late, but once we got going, it was okay. And then during the day, some of them sat out there for more than an hour, you know, just sitting out on the grass, chatting and smoking, you know, and I thought, Jesus, are we ever going to get through this project if this is the start on the day one?
Mike's concern is that failure of any team to achieve their daily goal will effectively mean failure for everyone.
He's slacking because people keep coming to visit him and say hi, and then he stops working to chat to his friends.
Nomfundo reckons if Mike can take unscheduled breaks, so can she.
So if anyone's a slacker here, it is Mike himself.
You know, I know that I said yesterday, take all the rest you want to, but I'm cancelling that. If we don't push really hard, we're not going to do it. Seriously.
Much of the frame has been completed on the first day, so early on day 2, the teams begin lining up and riveting the sheet aluminium skins into place. It is not all plain sailing, however.
I'm quite distressed by the fact that actually quite often Dudu and Charmaine kind of point out the mistakes I've made and they're a step ahead of me.
In this case, the part has already been riveted into place, so the offending rivets will have to be drilled out for the error to be corrected. James's team aren't the only ones having problems.
Very, very, very frustrating. Because the holes don't line up. That means either the skin's not perfect or something. Vince, how often is this lot of holes here not fit?
No, this one must fit.
I think we're in trouble. I think we've done something wrong. Oh no, James Pitman's gonna be so happy now.
But Nomfundo needn't be too concerned. The wing department's problems are far from over.
There seems to be a problem in Wing Paradise where Mike, who is the king of doing this, who's built this beautiful structure here, which looks like a plane, was called to go assist. He is now, oh, I know the word, declosing. What's the word?
Declicoing.
Yeah, declicoing, because something was done incorrectly by James Pitman.
Okay, let's go, guys. Team, let's get back again. Let's start clicoing this bloody thing again.
Apart from setbacks like this that occur when working too hastily, James is finding it difficult to strike a balance between the discipline that's needed to get the job done and maintaining an atmosphere that will enhance morale.
I thought we were ahead, but now I'm like having doubts again because each of the other people in the workplace talk shit for 45 minutes to an hour a day to somebody, and they're all talking shit to me. So I'm talking shit for 10 hours in a day. You know what happened last night? I slept on the sofa. Nomfundo went to bed on the mattress next door. And did you know that from about an hour in, you were on the floor, like midway between my bed and your mattress?
That's why she woke up. I saw the mattress empty. I'm like, where's Nomfundo?
Are you insinuating I'll try to jump into bed
I don't know what was happening, but you were crawling in my direction.
Can't believe you.
You have to line up this one, sir.
Is Vince the guy who teaches people to do it?
Vince, he's a very bad teacher, but he's a brilliant...
But he seems to know everything.
He knows everything, but he doesn't like to teach. And in fact, he's recently adopted the attitude that if we want him to teach people, we have to pay him more.
Yeah, but teachers don't get paid well in this country. Huh?
Exactly. We told him that.
Where's everybody? They went home or?
It's an old story of South Africa. It's the black man doing all the work and the white oak sitting around talking shit.
I can see that.
We're going to change that now.
It's only me and
The foreigner.
Yeah, and then working together.
The foreign woman.
Towards the end of day number 2, Vince, who's generally quiet and retiring, begins to come out of himself.
The thing is, we shot with the hand riveter, the air riveter, because they keep taking from the wing section.
Stealing it from us, you know? We have it here and then they just come and they just take it from us, you know?
That's the problem we have here.
It's like me and Vince against the rest.
It's like 6 of them. That's all.
I mean, if they want to war, we're ready.
Well into the second evening, spirits are still high, but fatigue is beginning to take its toll.
What is that?
No, don't be mean.
Come on, man, Sherry.
What are we gonna do now?
Flip, man.
Hey, you're bullying her.
We've been working away at this flipping thing for a long time now. And she just get up like that. I mean, come on.
I really will cry.
I mean...
Dinner time.
Dinner time!
Exhaustion is kind of trickling in at the moment. We have to drink our coffees and I mean the energy levels are still there. and the willingness. It's just the body's starting to feel the pressure.
All this for food.
Well, the situation is that we are now quite seriously behind. And the reason is because lots of people have taken too much rest, particularly a central person like James.
I actually don't think we're far behind. I think Mike is trying to whip up everybody into a frenzy so that we definitely don't fall behind. But what is difficult to get people moving, and the bigger the personality, the harder they are to get moving in the morning.
I sleep here. This is like my little bed, my sleeping bag and stuff. No sheets, okay? This is a chick who lives in Morningside. She's very lonely in Joburg. I'm a Santon housewife, okay, who works for a living.
Yeah, Nomfundo, because she has a big personality, she has a substantial inertia. So she instructed me to phone her this morning at 5 o'clock so that she can write an article for the magazine of which she's a sub-editor by 8 o'clock.
While I was trying to sleep last night, someone brought this to me.
And it's now 2 minutes to 7, and she's the one person who's still...
Is it a real one?
Dudu is also there. The two that are there are Dudu and Nomfundo. And Dudu was really keen to fly. She was desperate to fly. So I wonder whether I shouldn't go and pick her up in the aeroplane at that hangar and fly her to work this morning.
Last night, Dudu and Nomfundo moved their bedding from the work hangar to the hangar where Vince and Gareth were sleeping so that they could carry on drinking and chatting, away from Mike's watchful eye.
I've come to fly you to work.
The fact that the two hangars are only 100 meters apart makes James's idea of flying Dudu to work questionable. Essentially, James needs very little excuse to climb into an airplane.
You know, once James says, yeah, okay, I'm going to go and fly now and have some fun for a while, then everybody in that section goes and sits on the lawn, and that affects mostly the girls because they were kind of all together, and then they go and sit and chat and what have you. So I have to think about how stern I have to be this morning with everybody, including James, or especially James.
I'm not giving off. I'm going to work as the next person.
If you start to goof off, then everybody else starts to come and sit out on the lawn, and then nobody's
Well,
working
you think
here.
that's the business you talk guys about. I'm also maintaining a kind of a happy environment and kind of
of
trying
course
to make
we
an
are.
assessment regarding who needs what.
I know,
to
but
keep
James,
them
you know, we
going.
need a certain number of hours to get this thing through.
But I mean,
If we
Vince's
don't
view
put
is
this
that we're ahead.
If we don't,
You know, we're going to finish on Wednesday at the moment.
We-
So we also want to have some fun. You know, we've got to
I
the
don't
kids
think,
here and
I
the
don't think
people
we're going to
participating.
finish on Wednesday, James.
But Vince does, and he knows as well. He's also quite strong at this kind of thing. But shall I drop that? My idea.
No, you can do that. I don't
Okay,
mind,
okay,
James.
okay.
But I mean, you know, we've got to work 12 hours a day. Yesterday, a lot of people took 2 or 3 hours off during the day. So, I mean, then, you know, you times that by 8 or whatever it was, that's like 20, 30 hours of lost work, just like that. Because we're 10 people. So everybody takes an extra hour. That's, 10 hours gone.
So we'll find a nice balance between the two.
Okay, no time off today for you. Okay. I mean, I was a bit angry, but, that's James. I love him like that, He brings a certain sparkle into everybody's life. So, but when we've got a job to do, a serious job like this, with real time constraints, then you've got to muck in. There's no time for buggering around and, playing the fool.
Another drain on precious build time is that Dudu and Nomfundo have to service the publications that they work for.
I think it's something that I have to do as well to cover my ass for the office,
The stuff that pays the bills is coming first.
Meanwhile, things are coming along in the hangar.
We're just about finished with the rear fuselage. Apart from this piece, we're going to join the rear fuselage onto the center fuselage part, which Vince has been working on. That's quite a major step.
I'm an entertainment editor of a magazine that sells 140,000 copies a week. I manage 4 journalists, and we do the cover story, the cover, all the gossip pages. So we do all the entertainment, which actually sells the magazine. And me not being there, it's the first time I've not been at work to sort of run things, and I'm stressing because we're going to bed tonight and 35 pages are missing. And I'm here building a plane.
Having joined the rear and the center fuselages, We're attaching the skins that attach the back to the front, you know?
So I doubt everybody's going to be happy, but we'll see.
We'll catch up though. I think once we sort of done with this sort of stuff, like work stuff, we will catch up because we are willing to put in the extra hours. So there's no stress, guys. It's all like chill.
That's it.
And this one, Mike left this one.
Mike has left that one. He told me not to do that.
Mike asks Dudu and Nomfundo to take a break from their media work to attend the morning meeting.
I'll tell you why it doesn't look like we're behind, but why we are behind is because what we needed to do in the beginning was we needed to get as far ahead as quick as possible, because once the fuselage is finished and standing there, there's only 3 people that can work on it at once. We can't have, not everybody can work on it.
It is becoming increasingly important to the success of the plane's construction and to the safety of Mike and James as its first pilots to keep everyone motivated and focused.
We have to be very, very precise, because almost all the failures that occur on this size aircraft are on the engine installation and the electrics and that sort of thing. And that it has to be, and Vince is like the specialist on that, and it's a very slow, precise job. You have to check every tiny little thing.
I mean, Mike and I are going to be flying this plane over the deserts in Africa and then across the Mediterranean and so on. So it is the extent to which we are able to kind of focus and keep our minds on the job and do it right and not make a single mistake. Because it is a case of a chain is as weak as its weakest link, you know. If one thing goes wrong, we're going to go down, you know.
The real issue with this project is not so much completing the build on time, but rather the quality of the work, as it literally is a matter of life and death.
You know, it's been messy because we always have like 2 glasses of wine before we go to bed, and then it ends up being 7 and we all pass out and we have to get up early, and there is no time where you actually define where you're supposed to be doing work for the office and filing for them. So I've been sitting there typing myself, I've been dozing off. The next thing I see is like, look. How did it work? I really think that building this airplane is a big enough task. And today I was trying to determine how to strike the balance. It's like I'm doing 3 jobs at a time. I feel so torn because, I mean, the rest of the team is here and they're working and they're riveting and drilling, and it's really like, you know, tedious work, and you actually want more people to be on it so it can be done quicker. But now it looks like we're slacking off when we're busy.
Nomfundo. I'm so tired.
Later that evening, the ever-growing exhaustion is taking its toll even amongst the most experienced members of the crew. In their inspections, they didn't notice that there was a key component missing.
I mean, can you believe it that we both missed this?
The wing skins will have to come off again.
The thing is, I'm feeling bad because I feel like tired, and the thing that we planned for today didn't happen.
Vince and I are about to put the front undercarriage on.
We planned we're going to put the landing gear today on.
I think that's the wrong one.
This was the wrong thing.
Yeah, I think we have to
Couldn't happen because engine mounting something wrong there on the engine mount.
I'll make a suggestion. I think we should tidy up hit the set. It's been a hell of a long day. Everyone is really tired.
So I just want to get some sleep and rest. Maybe I can come fresh tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I think we're all understanding that maybe, just maybe, we can't go on 12 hours a day non-stop, because you get tired and you start like thinking properly and you're not as logical as you were in the morning, for example. Like right now, stupid mistakes have been made and we're gonna need to resolve them tomorrow because people are exhausted.
There is a saying often quoted by airplane builders that goes, 90% done, 90% to do. During the second half of the build, the less experienced members of the crew begin to realize this, fueling a frustration that increases with their exhaustion. Perhaps because of this, after more hard days of pulling rivets, they begin to party harder. Mike is going to have a job on his hands to get airborne before the 7 days are up.